Believe it or not, that is the face behind the song that is the number one hit in the nation. I'm not even being hyperbolic. This is 1000% true. He is Forgaggio Blow. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And he's got the Boycott Target song. This harkens back to, if you remember, was that last year or the year before? Might have been the year before, when there was the Let's Go Brandon songs, Bryson Gray. There was a couple of other guys as well that were really popping off and climbing up the charts. And this seems to be a similar situation because you've got the iTunes charts right here. And yes, Forgaggio Blow and Jimmy Levy, Boycott Target, number one. And it's not like it was a slow week in music. Like a Lil Durk song just came out. Taylor Swift just dropped something as well. I don't know why CCR's at 6. That shit's old as hell. Another Taylor Swift song. Like, he's beating the brakes off of some incredibly popular songs and incredibly popular artists. But you know what's even more popular than that? Woke companies getting the brakes beat off of them. You do, in fact, love to see it. And we're not going to play the song. I don't know if it's copywrote or copywritten or anything like that, but going to be streaming a little bit later. Central figure about that that we're going to be talking about with. That stream there is about that TikToker Mizzy over in the UK who likes to do break and enters, stealing dogs, getting caught up and staging a capture video from the police and then getting released hours later. It's an entire situation and a couple of other topics interspersed in there as well. Hopefully you turn out for that. It should be a hell of a lot of fun. But back to the regular scheduled programming. Oh yeah, and like I said, maybe we'll listen to it on the stream. I don't know if it's any good, but I don't really want to risk it right now when it comes to the video. That's the bread and butter. So rapper claims a Boycott Target song is being shadow banned by iTunes. The same thing happened verifiably, and there are some things that you can see behind the scenes. Like, I can take a look at a couple of the videos that I do that just immediately take off like a rocket ship and then just flatline and plateau. I've shared with you guys that information that we get in the background as creators, and I'm sure he probably has something similar that's right there. Probably absolutely skyrocketing right to the top. Don't know if the song's a banger or not, but it's a message that resonates with a lot of people. And if it's cheap enough, was it at full price? I couldn't quite tell. Yeah, $1.29. So yeah, it was right up there, full price, and people like it and people are supporting things. Imagine that. You give them an alternative instead of just songs that are about, you know, fleecing or heading down 304s or dropping drugs in guys' drinks so that you can steal from them. Shout out Cardi B. And people will listen to it, even if it is a meme. But yeah, even though it is the number one song on the iTunes platform, surpassing tunes by, yes, Taylor Swift, multiple of them, Luke Combs, Lil Durk, like, it's pretty tremendous. Incredibly tremendous. But yeah, if he's claiming to be shadow banned, I want to know what he's on about, because I can empathize. And given the fact that he's probably making a killing off of this song, given the fact that it is number one in the nation, I feel for him. The pro-Trump rapper's new single, demanding consumers boycott Target, has shot to the number one on the iTunes top 10 charts, beating out artists like Taylor Swift and the long since disbanded CCR. That's just still going to be weird. Was it like in a movie or something like that? Anyways, whatever. Meanwhile, the Florida Man, oh my god, and it's a Florida Man story? Yay! Behind the track's historic ascension, alt-right MC Forgaggio Blow. I'm sure he's alt-right. Ugh, God. Has continued to accuse the music platform of purposely putting a clamp on his song's progress due to its conservative message. We see it time and time and time again. It's not a new message, and it's a consistent restraint that's put on anything right of Chairman Mao when it comes to pushing a message. Titled Boycott Target, the 2-minute-long song comes in direct response to the Superstore's newly announced Pride collection, but it's a history that they've been doing. It was a step too far with the onesies going right after kids. Shout out Kohl's. We'll be talking about them hopefully tomorrow. I think tomorrow. Anyways, moreover, featuring lyrics that accuse the stalwart department store of attempting to instill a gay agenda with the aggressive clothing campaign, which touts several polarizing items such as tuck-friendly bathing suits, to stash wearers' private parts. Oh, okay. And pro-trans t-shirts for kids. Yo, this sounds hilarious. We'll try to listen to it tonight. You guys turn out, remind me. In the midst of the meteoric and unlikely rise that has already seen him secure well over $1 million, but yeah, if it's also number one on the iTunes chart, like, he stands to gain a whole hell of a lot more. Haven't heard of this guy beforehand. He could be an absolute pisser. But chances are he's never going to hit number one again on the iTunes chart. Let's keep it a buck. And he knows the fact that, yeah, there are some bucks that are within reach. And if iTunes is pulling some shady shit just because of the messaging that's behind it and nothing else, hey, man, he's got legitimate gripe here. Has already seen him secure well over $1 million. Blow, Mr. Blow to you, appeared on, for an interview to decry iTunes for what he alleged is censorship, while taking the time to offer some choice words to brass responsible for a recent progressive push. Recent progressive push? If you've been paying attention to this stuff, and that's just so hilarious. The fact that he has Stella Artois and a 40 with the gay bannering. Oh my God, this guy's great. Watch the song be absolute trash. I have no idea what it is anyways. But yeah, we'll try to listen to it tonight. It's shadow banned all over the world right now. Blow told outspoken anchor Brian Kilmeade Monday. Is that Newsmax? I think it's Newsmax. Using terminology that refers to certain form of censorship that sees a user's content blocked from part or all of an online forum without warning. Yeah, and it's not trackable. It's nothing that you can verifiably go and say. It's kind of like a content strike. If you're uploading on YouTube or any of the other platforms, then it'll tell you, no, this was taken down for nebulous reason. And it's never that reason that they actually want to take it down, because it only seems to ever go in one direction. But yes, because it's not readily available as to the reasoning behind their deregulating your search results, that's why the shadow moniker is in there. But I think you guys all know that, but just for those in the back. Utilized in the past by big name platforms such as Twitter and YouTube amid a recent rise in heated political discourse, often to mixed results. No, not really. I know a lot of people throw it out around there and they use it as justification. Oh, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe because, my channel's been shadow banned. I've had individual videos that have been shadow banned. Like I said, I've showed you the results, and that's kind of what I'm thinking this guy's, also making reference to. It was going up like this. Like, there's a natural curve, and I can show you some other ones, too, that, just nice and slowly go up, and there are some that get rediscovered and then go up a little bit more. But there's a nice little easing pattern to it. It doesn't just immediately go straight up and then straight across. That's a problem. That is something that's not an organic trend. Somebody specifically did that. That's what people who are acting in good faith refer to as a shadow ban. Other people just use it as justification, as a call to action, which if this guy's making the rounds, it's also a call to action, but then it's also, just calling out the bad business practices of Apple, which if you know anything about Apple, well, it's kind of fair. It's fair. Speaking with Kilmeade during the day's Fox and Friends broadcast. Oh, okay, so he's on... I don't know where any of these cable broadcasters are. I know that Hannity is going to fail. Took over Tucker Carlson's old spot, and Tucker's on Twitter, I guess. Eventually he'll do a show. I don't know. Blow elaborate. Sure, he's a great guy. Hilarious last name. On what he believed to be a conspiracy concocted by the Apple-operated application. Yeah, it's just a conspiracy. Kind of like how, in a matter of hours, all of the big platforms just, independently came to the conclusion that Alex Jones needed to be taken off of everything. That Donald Trump needed to be taken off of everything. It's a conspiracy. Get out of here. Despite his song already topping iTunes hip-hop chart at the time and standing at the number 2 spot on the platform's hallowed all genres list. You can't even search for the song on iTunes without going to the music video and clicking the external link. I would independently check that, but I don't have iTunes at all whatsoever. I have different applications to listen to music, so I don't know. Shortly after the televised interview, the track's popularity continued to burgeon, propelling it to the overall number 1 spot around midday Tuesday. But hey, shout out to him, man. That was the boost that was needed. A similar thing was happening, even though, because it had a nice organic growth. Eric July, Young Rippa on YouTube, he launched his comic book company. And yeah, he ended up getting hits with calls for boycotts, and then ended up getting a spot on Fox, and then ended up, making at the end of his campaign $3.5 million. Not that lofty yet. I know, talking about politics as well, and the billions word gets thrown around a lot, but no, $3.5 million. So yeah. As you can see, there's kind of a want for a non-political or even a politically opposite message from people, because we've been inundated so much all the time with all of this woke messaging, and people are just having enough. They've had their fill. Even though I kind of, my tank was topped up probably back in 2014 was about the time where I just punched out and it's like, oh, this shit is terrible. Y'all just hate guys, and None of the stuff that you put out today is any good anyways. There's enough, stuff that was made in history back when there was no agendas being pushed underneath that I can just watch and fulfill the rest of my time. Or I can just go to work and create the content that I want to see in the world. How about that for a fucking idea? But no, apparently, because I have been informed that is terroristic behavior. According to an MSNBC panelist, conservative boycott of Target over Pride merch is economic terrorism. Literally terrorism. Boycotting a company is akin to terrorism. Even though that statement is likely to come out of any one of these rogues galleries of half-fruits, you go ahead and place your bet on who you think is going to make this ludicrous statement. If you think that this is cherry picking, oh, it's just as bad as it reads. Trust me. We'll let whoever wants to come forward with this stupid statement tell it. Is it soy-filled Tobey Maguire? Is it mid-transition Adam Carolla? Or the guy who used to clean up the fern after Harvey Weinstein was done with it? I'll let you decide.
Though, if you're Target and you cave here, this is a slippery slope.
Okay.
Because this anti-LGBTQ movement, they're not going to stop here.
Well, that's right. You have an ally in Ted Cruz.
They want to sue every company out there that has any sort of diversity and inclusion initiative.
See, they can't even get this nonsense out their mouth. Oh my God, you're just not being inclusive to the 0.001% of the population by not selling propaganda to babies? What the fuck?
Yeah, I think there's something really quite scary here. And it comes from
he's also Australian. Oh, no. Come on.
From the Target CEO saying the reason they were backing off is they were worried about the safety of their employees. So, look, one of two things.
Justin Wolfers. Oh, God damn it. What does that say?
Things are true.
A professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan. Okay, so this isn't a fucking scrub, even though he looks like one.
Use that as protection and a smokescreen so that they could make a cowardly decision. Or it could be that they're actually genuinely concerned about the well-being of their employees and have had credible threats. And if that's the case, when Target caves into this, then it says that the moment you threaten the employees of even a very large corporation...
It's funny because the only threats that we know that are public to the employees are from the side of the aisle that would have liked to see the displays that are there. Interesting. Probably didn't talk about that on MSNBC, did you? Those bomb threats that were called in Utah, in Ohio, in Pennsylvania, all across the nation. Didn't want to talk about that, though. No. It's those evil conservatives. They're just lauded for all of their boycotting prowess.
You get to control its policies. This is economic terrorism. Literally terrorism. It's creating fear among the workers. And
which workers? Who's in fear?
Forcing the corporations to sell the things you want and not sell the things you don't. So
remember that old saying, the customer is always right? Listen, if nobody was going to buy this shit, if it was just up there at the front and everybody went, nope, not fucking buying that stuff. Well, what do you mean? We just want to sell all the stuff with the rainbows and the fucking rainbow-colored phalanx, not the fancy word for dick. We just want to sell all that stuff and nobody wants to fucking buy it. Literally terrorism. Literally terrorism. If you don't lick the boot of big business. These fuckers are crazy. If you want to go ahead and lob insults at the conservatives who aren't endangering any of the workers that are there, if you just want to go ahead and run off your old list of talking points, you go do you. I'm sure the people that you teach at the University of Michigan are definitely getting their tuition's worth. P.U. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.